This question said, given the reaction for aluminum plus 3 oxygen yields 2 Al2O3 or aluminum oxide, how many moles of aluminum oxide will be formed when 27 grams of aluminum reacts completely with O2? So this is a stoichiometry problem. They're not going to go away. There's going to be plenty of more stoichiometry problems that we're going to have to work out this year, including on this test and on your final exam. So remember, we have a list of steps that we have to do in order to answer these questions. Our first step was to look at the chemical equation and circle the two chemicals that we'll be working with. So the question says, how many moles of aluminum oxide will be formed when 27 grams of aluminum reacts completely? So I need aluminum and I need aluminum oxide. I do not need oxygen because that statement is just saying that oxygen is readily available in the chemical reaction. So our next step after identifying what we needed from the chemical equation was to write down our given. Our given was 27 grams of aluminum. Please make sure when you're doing these stoichiometry problems that you're remembering that you have to write down your units and you have to write down the chemical that you're working with. So after I write down my given, I set up my ratio. Step 3 is to match your given units to the bottom of the ratio. So then I write grams of aluminum on the bottom. I'm solving for moles. It says how many moles. So mole of Al2O3. Next step is to write down your coefficients. So your coefficient of aluminum was 4. Coefficient of aluminum oxide was 2. And then you have to remember that whenever you see grams, you have to add parentheses and use your molar mass of that compound. For us, the chemical is aluminum, which means I just need to look at the periodic table for its molar mass. And the molar mass of aluminum is 26.982. So I'll go back over here, 26.982. Okay. Now, when I plug this into my calculator, it gave me an answer of 0.4447, right? And what you have to realize is that this question wanted it rounded to the tens place. So when you round that, it goes to 0.5 moles. Okay. Now, there's another explanation for this problem for those of you who are doing a good job understanding chemistry. What you can do here is you could realize that 27 grams is actually equal to 1 mole of aluminum. Okay, so 27 grams is 1 mole of aluminum. So you could look at the mole ratio between aluminum and aluminum oxide, and you see that for every 4 moles of aluminum, you're going to get 2 moles of aluminum oxide. Okay, so I can simplify that ratio and go down to a 2-to-1 ratio. So that means for every 2 moles of aluminum, I'm going to get 1 mole of aluminum oxide. So if you only have 1 mole of aluminum oxide, then according to that ratio, you're only going to get 0.5 of moles of aluminum oxide. Okay, just simple ratios because remember, everything in chemistry is just ratios and proportions.